Okay, this is going to be a different kind of video. A while back, I found a really terrible Armored Core fanfiction. I'm not going to say where I got it because I don't want to give the guy any bad publicity, but I will say it was through a link in the Wayback Machine that miraculously still worked. Because anyone who's used the Wayback Machine knows links typically don't work there. Yes, I know there's a good possibility that whoever wrote this is no longer active on the internet, but I still don't want to take the chance. But anyways, I read it and it was one of the cringiest fucking things I've ever read. It's absolutely atrocious. And eventually I had a spur-of-the-moment idea to do a reading of it, but this time I brought someone along for the party. His name is Andrew, and as far as I know at the time of the posting of this video, he is the only confirmed Armored Core fan on my channel. I don't know how this video is going to be received. As I said, it's a very different type of video. There's a lot of echoing in there due to the setups that we used, and it's almost an hour long. But I listed the timestamps for when we started reading the chapters in the text for you, so you don't have to aimlessly scroll through this gigantic video, and I also left a link to my old Blogspot account in the text where I reposted the story so you guys can follow along with us. But I've talked long enough, so here we go. Alright, Andrew, here's the thing. Since I already read the prologue and the first two chapters, I'm just going to have you read them and then just offer your commentary, and then once we get to Chapter 3, we'll start doing we'll start mixing it up a little bit.
Very well. We can alternate chapters if that's preferable.
Sure, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not trying to be serious or anything. This is just me goofing off.
Before we read the prologue, there's something I need to address immediately. Story hasn't even begun.
Okay.
I would like to acknowledge Age Tech for creating the game and plotline. That is wrong. They're a publisher. That is courtesy of FromSoft. So, automatically, story hasn't even begun, and there's already a problem. This is going to be interesting. All right.
Dude, let me tell you something. It's only going to get worse from here. I'm just letting you know that. It's not going to get any better.
Who knows? We're going through into this blindly outside of the first couple chapters, so who knows? But I'm going to start the prologue.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yep.
The attack came from nowhere. It was like he was a ghost in the shadows. So fast, so powerful, unstoppable. Paris had been through many hardships in the past few months, but none were like this. Having to fight the number one Raven was not an easy task, and being forced into the fight was a completely different story altogether. First the leg took the damage, then the back, the right arm, and finally the torso. His AC was taking so much damage so fast that Curtis couldn't even tell where his opponent was or how many opponents there were. Then the radar took a direct hit and the screen went black. Curtis
Blank.
killed the radar as it wasn't helping. Yes?
It said blank.
Blank, my apologies. Curtis killed the radar as it wasn't helping. His enemy was just too fast. He'd have to concentrate. He stopped firing in all directions and focused. He tried to hear where his enemy was and finally got a bead. He fired his machine gun and Nightball took every bullet head on. Finally came out of the shadows and said, "Impressive. I did not think you would be able to hit me, especially at your level of skill. However, playtime is over. Let's see what you can really do." A little cheesy, but it isn't the worst prologue ever. But, alright.
Oh, dude. Well, here's the thing. You want to go over anything specific in the prologue?
Outside of some of the dialogue, not so much dialogue, but some of the lines being very strange, and clearly written by somebody younger, it's not the worst thing ever. But I don't want to drag too much on it, so let's just go ahead on chapter 1.
Well, the only thing that I want to say is when the radar took a hit and the screen went blank, Curtis killed the radar as it wasn't helping. It's like, yeah, no shit, the radar's gone, you fucking moron.
Also, I guess that brings up a second issue. That radar just lets you know where the enemy is. It doesn't act as like a screen for you to see through. Your mech has cameras. Wait a minute. Does his radar act as an... Oh my god, I didn't even think of this. Does his radar act as eyes? Because that's not how it works.
Well, I'm not sure how the author intended it, but either way, it's like when he wrote he killed the radar as it wasn't helping, after the radar screen went blank, I'm just like, yeah, no shit, it's not helping because it just got trashed. This is the kind of stupidity that I've seen in the story so far. And
If that's the... Oh, God.
And the first 2 chapters are full of shit like this.
Okay. Let's... Alright, let's continue. Chapter 1. In the year 2197, there's a better date that you could use for this, but whatever.
What do you mean me? I didn't write the story.
I'm talking to the guy here, man.
Oh, okay.
If he ever somehow sees this. In the year 2197, there was a war among nations known as the Great Destruction. This war was so devastating that it drove mankind underground as mankind found the surface no longer habitable. 50 years later, a group of rogue mercenaries known as the Ravens are formed by a man called Hustler 1. The Ravens are mercenaries who take on any mission for the right price and pledge allegiance to no one. They take on these missions with the latest machines of war, the Armored Core unit. When Hustler 1 was about 35 years old, wait, what? He received a mission from an unknown client with an odd request. Okay, should I say what's wrong with this, or do you think that's too spoilery?
Dude, just go with your gut, man. I'm just gonna pick, when I read, I'm gonna pick the story apart bit by bit. I want you to do the same.
Okay. Hustler 1, 35 years old. Hustler 1 is an AI. That's pretty fucking clear by the end of the game. But anyway.
Well, whoever wrote this story clearly had no idea.
How do you not have an idea? The game... Okay, you know what? The game blatantly tells you he's an AI. He even speaks like a fucking robot in the final mission. What?
Well, I'm guessing whoever wrote this probably didn't beat the game.
Really? Okay. Anyway.
By the way, I do know the author's name who wrote this story.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna say the full name because, like I said, I don't want to give this guy any bad publicity. But part of the name was HyperX. Yeah, so HyperX clearly had no fucking idea what he was doing when he wrote this story.
I feel like there's a very large lack of understanding about how Armored Core, the game, works and just how the plotline is. How do you mess up Armored Core's plotline like that? It's a very basic plotline.
Dude, I got no idea.
Okay, anyway, I'm getting off topic too much.
Yeah, we're just getting started here, dude.
All right. You received a mission from an unknown client with an odd request. Request unknown. Upon advance, 0. Upon success, 40 grand. We would like you to execute an attack on the rebellion at Avalon Hill. The targets are all battle MTs. All you have to do is destroy all MTs that are guarding the sector. We will pay you well. Sorry, but nobody else is available. How is nobody else available? Raven's Nest is literally crawling with ravens that could take this. And Hustler 1 does not take missions like this either. Now, granted, I will play devil's advocate and say this guy's only played Armored Core 1. But one thing that's made abundantly clear in Master of Arena is Nineball never takes missions like this. He only takes missions if it benefits himself. He would not take this. He would send literally anybody else to take the job instead.
Dude, I got no fucking clue.
Either way, no way in hell would the number 1 Raven take a job this simple. No way in hell. Regardless. Theater of Operations, location Avalon Hill, enemy forces MDs, blah blah blah. Requirements for success, destruction of all enemy forces, end of file.
Was Avalon Hill an actual place in Armored Core? Because I can't remember.
I believe so, yes. But I'm not sure if it was in Armored Core 1. I vaguely recall something like that in Master of Arena, but I'll double check that at some point. Probably when we're done reading the story. Anyway. End of file. Unnaturally, he accepted the mission. What? He accepted the mission. Motherfucker, do you not proofread? Okay.
Oh my god.
Accepted the mission.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. This I can't defend.
Dude, I just fucking noticed that myself.
Wait, you read through this and you missed this?
I just quickly skimmed through the first couple of chapters. I just fucking noticed this.
no!
Like I said, I wasn't doing like a full read-through, I was just kind of skimming through it. And trust me, it was tempting to read through the rest of the story, but I wanted to go in blind.
Alright, anyway. Unnaturally, he accepted the mission. Clearly, guy didn't proofread. But that night, around midnight, he arrived at Avalon Hill, and he started the battle off. That's an of, not... 2 F's, my motherfucker. 2 F's, not 1 F. Battle of with an explosion. Good job. The guards' MTs rushed over to see what was happening, but before they could even see him, Hustler 1 brought down their MTs with ease. The battle lasted for only 2 minutes until there was only 1 MT left. Hustler 1 shot it down, and it fell on the house next to it, and exploded. Before he left, he saw a boy climbing out from under the wreckage. When the boy saw the massive AC, he ducked right back under the rubble. Little did the two of them know they would play a major role in each other's lives. If you could even call being an AI a life.
Well, apparently Hustler 1 is an actual person in this story.
That doesn't make any fucking sense for the reasons I already gave, but anyway.
Then again, okay, it is fan fiction after all, so I guess we got to allow some liberties here. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense, but I mean, I guess HyperX was trying to put his own spin on the story, maybe. He either didn't understand the story of Armored Core, or he was trying to put his own spin on it. Either way, Hustler 1 being an actual person doesn't bother me so much.
I don't know. We'll read more and we'll have to see what happens. Either this guy didn't quite understand it, or he somehow missed it. I'll take a liberty and assume that, yes, he did in fact make Hustler 1 an actual person this time, but we'll have to see how this works out later. Anyway.
Alrighty, well, Chapter 2 then.
Oh god, I've already know about this. Young Curtis Trent awoke in his room. For the past 10 years, he had lived with his Uncle John. Ever since his parents died in the attack 10 years ago, Uncle John had taken him in since he was the only known family Curtis had. He woke up, took a shower, got dressed, and went downstairs for breakfast. Uncle John was a really good cook, and had served up pancakes, sausage, and bagels.
Yeah, because you really need to be a good cook to toast them fucking bagels.
Apparently so.
Well, then again...
What was it, a fucking 10 stack of pancakes at some fucking, I don't know. Was it a fucking souffle? What the hell?
Here's the thing. When I was a kid, I used to burn the bagels all the time because I'd either leave it in there too long or I'd turn the setting up too high, so I guess you need to have some understanding as to how a toaster works so you don't overcook the bagels and make them all burnt.
It's not having an understanding, it's called not being a dumbass.
Well, like I said, having an understanding as to how a toaster works, meaning my toaster had like only 5 different levels. If you set it to anything other than 3, you'd burn the fucking bagel. And the thing is, my toaster was such a piece of shit, like I'd have to set it to 3, then turn it back down to 2 and leave it in there for only a couple minutes, or it would get burnt.
Anyway, that is a little bit off topic, but still, had to be a real fucking good chef anyway. But, after breakfast, Curtis went into his workroom, followed by Uncle John. His workroom was where they always talk about things.
Okay, I don't know why he put that fucking line in there. Like, his workroom is where they always talked about things.
Or that... You could make that line work, but it needs to be reworded significantly.
Yeah, anyway. It's like, why would you only talk about things in the workroom? Like... What?
Anyway. Uncle John? Said Curtis. Yes, replied Uncle John. Do you know what day it is? Uncle John hesitated for the moment and said, Of course I do, it's the 23rd. Curtis had a depressed look on his face and replied, And you know that's never, ever a good day. Even his childhood friend Alexis couldn't get him out of his house. For the rest of the day, Curtis did his usual thing working and repairing his old guns. Curtis was a good mechanic and could fix many things. He also remembered the 2 clues that he had about the killer. A red and black AC, and an emblem of a 9-ball.
Why was that line put in there? That last line? It's like so out of place.
I don't know. Also, I'm going to make a prediction here. Real quick. I could be completely wrong, but I've seen this trope so many times that I would not be surprised. Childhood friend Alexis. I have a sneaking suspicion this woman's going to be the love interest in some way. I'm calling it right now. I could be wrong, but I've seen this trope many times. and I'm willing to bet this will be the case. I'm calling it now. But anyway, I'm going to continue. That night, Curtis awoke to an explosion, and when he heard it, it was almost as if the nightmare spirits dating back 10 years ago, which seemed like forever, were swarming all over again. He quickly grabbed an M16, a grenade, and raced out the door, not even listening to his uncle calling him back, saying, "Wait, Curtis, it's too dangerous."
An M16, really?
Fucking hell, there's got to be some better weapons out there.
A fucking
future,
M16? Like...
We're in the future, my guy. You better grab something better than that.
Dude, it's like, as if, well, then again, no, I mean, because, like, rifles from the First World War are still around and functioning, but this is like, after the entire surface got fucking wiped, you know what? No, I'm not gonna waste any energy on it. Just keep going.
You tried to defend it, and then you ended up realizing, wait, the Great Destruction happened, so that can't be working. But anyway.
Yeah, it only gets more ridiculous as you keep reading, trust me.
That explosion came from the house where Alexis lived, and he knew she was in grave danger. Wait a minute, I think I butchered this. I think Alexis is actually going to die early to give the character some early trauma. That could be another potential possibility. But anyway, when he got there, he saw a giant figure in the flames and a small section of her house destroyed. You pricks picked the wrong place to attack because now you have to deal with me.
Ooh, a fucking teenager with a gun. Woohoo!
Somebody fucking kill me. Anyway, Curtis opened fire with the M16, only to have the bullets ricochet right off the giant mysterious figure.
Wow, what a shocker.
Minute. Are you shooting an M16 at a fucking armored core? Okay, even as a teenager, even as a stupid teenager, I think you can realize small gun versus big mech with big guns. Clearly, the small gun will work, right? No, it fucking won't.
Dude, the story hasn't said how old he actually is. Like, he was a small boy when when 9 Ball struck. That means he could have been anywhere from, like, 5 to 12 years old. So he's got to be anywhere from 15 to 22. That's my prediction. Or my estimate, sorry.
Let me keep reading. We're cutting ourselves off too early here. Anyway. Curtis opened fire with the M16, only have the bullets ricochet right off the giant mysterious figure. He then cocked a grenade into the M16's grenade launcher, aimed, and fired. It hit the figure right in its head and exploded. Yeah, that's 9 Ball. However, when the smoke cleared, Curtis saw that it was completely undamaged. The figure aimed what seemed to be a gun and fired not at Curtis, but at the propane barrels near him. The explosion threw Curtis 15 feet into a telephone pole, and he blacked out.
What?
Okay,
yeah.
First of all,
yeah,
it's 9 Ball. It is 9 Ball. He had a flashback of him fighting 9 Ball with the fucking M16. So, yes. What the fuck, dude? Really?
Wait. What do you mean he had a flashback?
This was a dream.
No, it's...
Yes, it was. The line after that, it says, when Curtis woke up, he was having a nightmare. This section here was him having a nightmare.
I don't think it's a nightmare, no.
It is. Because they said that night, Curtis... Okay. Remember the 2 clues he had about the killer, and he said that night he awoke to an explosion. And then after this whole whatever the fuck, it said, when Curtis woke up, saw he was in a room again, Uncle John was sitting across the bed asleep. So yes, this section here, it was a dream.
Okay, well, let's keep reading then.
Okay. When Curtis woke up, he saw that he was in his room again, and that Uncle John was sitting across his bed in a chair asleep. Curtis woke up Uncle John, and when he saw Curtis, he nearly jumped out of his chair. "Curtis!" he gasped. "Are you okay? You scared me last night." Curtis backed away a little and said, "Slow down, Uncle John, I'm all right." Uncle John sighed in relief. Curtis then immediately remembered what happened last night and almost screamed, "Uncle John, where's Alexis?" Uncle John showed a deep sign of sadness and said, "I'm sorry, Curtis, but she's missing." Okay, I was wrong. That may have happened last night.
That wasn't a dream. That actually fucking happened.
Okay, that's even more dumb.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me go through this. Let me go through the little battle. So he fires a bunch of bullets at him. It does nothing. What a shocker. Fires a grenade. Again, it does nothing. This last fucking line here, okay? The figure aimed what seemed to be a gun, gee, what else would it aim at him, and fired not at Curtis, but at propane barrels near him. So, propane barrels just happen to be lying around, and another thing, propane doesn't come in barrels, they come in tanks. And then, the explosion threw Curtis 15 feet into a telephone pole and he blacked out.
Motherfucker, your neck should be broken.
You're fucking... Okay, depending on where you hit the damn thing, no, you'd be dead either way. If the shockwave of the explosion didn't kill him, the impact of the telephone pole, assuming those even still exist in this universe, that right there would fucking kill him, but instead he just blacks out and wakes up a little later.
And once again, this motherfucker just immediately grabbed an M16 or a grenade launcher and just fired it at either 9-ball or a fucking armored core. Dude, if an MT can't do anything to an armored core usually, what the fuck makes you think you can do so? I understand you're a teenager, but you can't be this stupid.
Anyway. This whole chapter is fucking ridiculous, I told you.
And how many chapters do we have?
I think there were like 8.
Oh, sweet merciful. Anyway.
Okay, so he said, I'm sorry, Curtis, but she's missing, and then a swarm of emotions.
A swarm of emotions of all types swarmed over Curtis. He couldn't believe what just happened. His friend, who he had known for 11 years, was missing. Probably dead, too. Curtis was so overwhelmed that he blacked out again. Okay. That night, when he came downstairs, Uncle John was waiting for him. Curtis, I've made a decision. Curtis looked at him and said, What is it? Uncle John gave a look of goodbye forever and said, I decided to let you go look for Alexis. Curtis couldn't help but saying, Uncle John, you do realize that we may never cross paths ever again. I don't even know what's out there. Uncle John didn't say a word and handed him back a backpack with all the things he needed. Then he handed him a pendant and said, This is your father's, Curtis. Take good care of it. Two men gave each other a firm handshake. Curtis took one last look around, ran out the door and turned back to say, Thank you, Uncle John, for taking care of me all those years. Without you that dark night, I might not be alive. Uncle John smiled and said, Just take good care of yourself, Curtis, and don't forget me. Curtis turned around, revealed a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, started up the engine, and speed off. It sped off, dude, really. And speed off past the kid. Shortly after Curtis began his journey, there was a big white flash as Curtis blacked out, never to see the region again.
Okay. I gotta go over this.
Yeah, please do.
Oh my... Just give me a second to process everything that just happened.
Take your time and just get a drink of water, because your throat's going to be very dry after all the ranting you're about to be doing, I imagine.
Okay, so the explosion and the impact into the telephone pole somehow doesn't kill him. He just blacks out, and he wakes up later on, and Uncle John tells him, oh, Alexis is missing, and he gets so overwhelmed he blacks out again. And then that night, when he came downstairs, okay, so I'm guessing it's been like about a day since the attack happened, Uncle John was waiting for him. Curtis, I have made a decision. What is it, Uncle John? Uncle John gave a look of goodbye forever. What? Never mind. And said, I have decided to let you go look for Alexis. Just, that's it? There's no argument between the two of them? No debate? It's just, Uncle John's like, oh, here you go.
These are fucking robots. If these people were human plus, I could somehow buy this.
Well, you know, with the dialogue, they're certainly acting like fucking robots here. Like, there's... Curtis is like, what, anywhere from 15 to 22 maybe, and Uncle John's like, you know what, I've decided to let you go look for Alexis. Here you go, here's a backpack and a pendant that was your father's, bye.
I'm gonna release you out there into probably one of the most dangerous, unfair, most worst places to live in basically any universe. The world of Armored Core sucks. Why would you release Curtis into shit like this if you're living fine?
You know, it would be one thing if he snuck out.
It would be, even if that would be ridiculous. But this is honestly even more so. What kind of asshole releases their kid into a world this dangerous? The world of Armored Core is extremely dangerous. This is the last place you want to leave your comfort zone on.
You know what? Well, then again, we don't even know where the fuck they're living. Avalon Hill, maybe?
Either way, it seems like they're living comfortably in a house somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, HyperX sure is a great fucking writer here. He does a good job with world building.
Yeah, and the worst part is, this is something that could have been really good. It would have been great to see how people live in a world like this, under the control of corporations that are being controlled by an AI behind the scenes. Stuff like this, truth be told, this story, as much as we have shat on it so far, it does have potential. There are some good things here and there that he could have done.
I will
But
agree with you on that.
yeah, anyway, keep going.
You know, it's just the problem. The problem is it's just bad character writing, just bad writing in general, awful dialogue, and not describing things when they should be described. And so then another thing, fucking Harley Davidson motorcycle, like really? What?
Fucking Curtis is an edgelord. There's no other way to describe it.
What? What was the way you described it? I didn't quite hear what you
He's an
said.
edgelord.
What?
An edge lord. I'm not sure if you're aware of the term. It's basically just a character that's very dark and tries to act cool all the time. That's basically what this character is. But anyway,
Yeah, and then he began his journey, and there's a big white flash as Curtis blacked out, never to see the region again. Wow, he's doing a lot of blacking out here.
yeah, what the fuck, dude? Like, you got some medication that you can take for this?
And where'd the big white flash come from?
The author's clearly trying to do his best to make Curtis look cool, like spouting one-liners or rushing out with an M16 or riding a Harley Davidson or something like that. Dude, it's not working. You are doing the exact opposite of what you're intending here.
Oh my fucking god. Alright. Oh wait, it's my turn, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You read chapter 3.
Also, you know what it is I just fucking noticed? Curtis Trent, do you know where that name came from?
Oh god, what is it?
Tomb Raider the Angel of Darkness. It's spelled the same fucking way, too.
You just now noticed this?
Yeah.
Oh god. You know what? If he referenced that game, what if he was actually a fan of Angel of Darkness?
Oh, jeez.
That explains so much. Oh my god, what a fucking revelation we have here.
Also, did you notice how Chapter 1 was spelled out, but then Chapter 2 and 3 are just like the number? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
Alright, I guess it's my turn. Chapter 3.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. When Curtis woke up, the room was dim. As he slowly awakened, he saw that he was in a recovery bed. He saw that there were dozens of recovery beds and that he was the only one in a bed. Take a shot every time he says bed. Then, a big man stepped into the room and approached Curtis. Well, I see you are awake, said the big man with almost no accent. What? People have accents in this unit? You know what? No, I'm not even going to fucking bother.
We'll address all of this when the chapter's done.
Okay. Curtis sat up a little and said, "Where am I?" The man gave a look as if he was not going to believe what he had to tell him and said, "You are in a place called the Raven's Nest."
The way you just internally died as you read that line. Oh my goodness, that was
where the ravens take shelter. It just nope.
Keep going.
Nope.
Keep
Hold
going.
up. I got to fucking pace a little bit. Nope. Not even.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently having technical difficulties. Please wait as Contrawolf gathers sanity. In the meantime, I'd like to tell you all, yeah, this is going to be a long one.
Nope.
I would recommend getting some popcorn.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So the Raven's Nest is an actual physical place now where the ravens take shelter. That's... You know what? Okay.
Keep going.
Calm down, Contra. Just calm down. Okay, you know what? Listen, like I said, I appreciate that the creative liberties here, like making the Raven's Nest an actual place. But it's... it has to... These ideas that hold potential are caught up in this fucking awful story. It just... Okay. Curtis sat all the way up. You mean the legendary ravens? The man looked at him blankly and said, "Yes, son, you have been selected for a test with an armored core unit provided, and if you pass, you are a raven."
What? How?
What?
How did we get to this? How did we get to this point? Keep reading.
Wait. How does one actually become a raven in the armored core universe? Do you fill out an application?
I assume it'd be like you would have to at least do a test or do some training in order to be a pilot. Like, equivalent to going to flight school to become a pilot, or just going to boot camp to become a soldier, something along those lines. I don't know. I assume it'd be like training.
Wait a second. I just remembered off the top of my head, one of the Ravens in either Project Phantasma or Master of Arena, like one of the low-ranking Ravens, I remember it saying in the description he was the son of a prominent corporate suit or something like that.
Yeah, yes, that you're thinking of one of the opponents in the sub-arena of Master of Arena.
Yeah, he was like the son of a high-ranking corporate worker or something like that. So
a corporate executive.
Corporate executive, sorry. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's one way you get in, because, you just take some of Daddy's money and then just be like, hey, I'm a Raven now.
I assumed it'd be like a school or some way. I don't want to draw comparisons to Ninebreaker, because that takes place in a completely different universe, and that came way after. But I assume you would have to go through school or training in some way before you're selected to be an Armored Core pilot.
That's a good question. Like, the Armored Core universe, to the best of my knowledge, has never answered that question. Like, how does one actually become a Raven? Do they get... You know what? Never mind. Listen, like I said, I like this idea, but it's just fucking wasted by this awful story writing.
Yeah. Keep going. Gotta keep seeing this.
Okay, let's see. Curtis looks shocked. It's not every day you get an opportunity like this. Why is that in parentheses? Is he, like, thinking that to himself? Don't you, like, when a character does that, don't you have to italicize the writing? Okay, whatever. He's probably thinking that to himself. The man walked to the door and said, "Come on, we don't have all day. Let me show you what you need to know." Curtis climbed out of bed and followed the man through the halls. The place was enormous, containing dozens of rooms and hallways. Meanwhile, Curtis was listening to the man saying, "This is the dorm area where all the Ravens sleep, and the cafe is down the hall to the right. Now come, because we must get you into your mech pilot suit quickly because the test is in 5 minutes." Just this fucking awful writing.
Okay. What happened here? You blacked out somehow after when riding your bike randomly, and then you just woke up in a bed and just like, "Hey, you're a Raven. Come with us. Test is in 5 minutes." What?
Yeah.
What was like, the in between?
What is that? How you become a Raven? Get fucking kidnapped by one? And the thing is, I love how Curtis is just going along with this. He's not asking any fucking questions like, wait, what do you want with me? You know what? You know what? I'll bet you somewhere down the story, it'll be revealed that fucking Nineball was behind all this or something. How many fucking cliches we've encountered so far, I'll bet you he's behind this. I'm calling it right now.
Everything is literally the only explanation for this, and the explanation wouldn't even be all that good.
No, it wouldn't.
But anyway, keep going.
Okay,
keep going.
So let's see. Test in 5 minutes. Curtis was led into an area with these black pilot suits, and he got dressed into one that fit him. He was led to a garage that held a huge armored core for him. The mech was huge, roughly 50 to 100 feet tall. Is that how big they are?
Okay, truth be told, the guy didn't actually get that bit right. That is stated in the description somewhere. I don't know specifically, but he does have the size right. I will give him credit there.
Okay. And it looked like it was ready to start the Great Destruction all over again. Why is all over again italicized?
And what do you mean start the Great Destruction all over again? Motherfucker, there's a thing called justice. That was what caused the Great Destruction.
It was probably like a figure of speech saying, "Oh yeah, this mech looks armed to the teeth," but whatever. It's fucking dumb writing again. He climbed into it, strapped himself in, and initiated the launch sequence. Curtis somehow instinctively knew how to use it, as it somehow connected with him.
What?
Yep, I knew it. It's gonna be one of those stories. Curtis is gonna be the chosen one, genetically engineered or destined by the gods to do something amazing. I mean, this is called the Raven of his time, after all.
Okay, keep reading.
Okay, so...
Also, I read ahead briefly. I just read ahead briefly. Once you get to this line, I gotta say something.
Okay. Curtis somehow instinctively knew how to use it as it somehow connected with him. He started it up and walked onto a platform. What? The platform was an elevator which raised into a huge blaster. Okay, so he's walking in the mech. Okay. Sorry, my mind kind of went blank there. Thanks again to the bad writing. The platform was an elevator which raised into a huge blast door, and the door opened. He piloted his mech out into a massive arena with two other mechs that were smaller and weaker than his... Hold on. He piloted his mech out into a massive arena which two other mechs that were smaller and weaker than his were standing at the opposite end. A voice came on and said, "Are you ready?" Curtis replied, "Yes, I am." The voice came on and said, "If you survive this, you will become a raven, but if you fail, you die."
So hold on. Judging by this line... Okay, so hold on. Judging by this line, this is a reference to Armored Core 2, because Strong, who I believe is your teacher in that game, he says the exact same thing when you begin the Armored Core test.
Wait, really?
So, yes, he says this exact same thing. So from that alone, I can tell this Armored Core 1 isn't the only Armored Core game that this guy has played. HyperX did not just play the first Armored Core game, he has played more.
Okay.
This makes me think there's more details that this guy should be aware of, but he still is leaving a lot of them out. Whatever. We'll address more later on.
Okay, Curtis activated the weapon system and looked at them. The mech was equipped with a 7.62mm machine. What? Is that the caliber of the bullets?
I'm pretty sure an MT fire is much bigger than that.
Yeah, okay, so a 6...
This is a reference to the Armored Core test, where you have to fight two of the reverse join MTs to become a Raven. But what the fuck?
Okay, a 6-shot missile launcher and a heavy advance... 50 cal grenade... Wait, how are grenades measured again? 50 cal is for bullets.
Millimeters. Grenade launchers are measured in millimeters.
Oh my
God. Okay, keep going.
The test begins now. The two MTs boosted off as Curtis did the same. The two MTs in unison fired, hitting his mech right in the core. Curtis, on the other hand, fought back with swift boosts. He came right up and over the enemy, boosted, and pulled the trigger. At that moment, bullets seemed to come down like rain as the MT's top blew up and burst into flames. The second MT tried to maneuver and did manage to get a direct hit. Curtis was out of options and resorted to final measures. He locked onto the 6 critical points on the enemy's mech, fired the missiles, and blew the last MT to pieces. The operator then came on and said, "The test is over. From this moment on, you are a Raven." Curtis had become a Raven. Before he powered his mech down, he thought he saw a figure in the shadows watching him.
Okay.
This fucking story just...
It should not be hard to do to replicate or at least write a section related to the Armored Core test, because this is literally how it was in Armored Core 1. All you have to do is just point out some obvious weapons that the MTs had that they did back in Armored Core 1. Back then, they had quad-barrel machine gun arms. I believe they were 50 calibers, but that's just a guess. And I believe occasionally they had a missile to them. Overall, they were very easy. But how do you even mess up the description of a normal MT? They're very basic. They have 4 guns and occasionally fire a missile, to my knowledge. That's it. How do you mess up the description of that?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Thought I saw a figure in the shadows watching him. Yeah, that basically confirms that what you're saying is right. Somebody set this whole thing up. There's no other end.
I can buy that, okay? Because that's a pretty common trope, but it's just told so fucking badly.
And Curtis blacked out once when he got yeeted into a fucking telephone pole.
Which should have fucking killed him.
Yeah, okay. He got yeeted into a telephone pole and blacked out. Then he heard his childhood friend of 11 years is missing, and he blacked out again. Then he drove a Harley Davidson, drove into an area, and then blacked out again. Also, he blacked out while riding a motorcycle. How the fuck is he not dead?
Well, there was a giant white flash. Who knows? You know what, Andrew? We're putting way too much thought into this story.
We are, and we should address this chapter by chapter. Want to start chapter 4?
Yeah, just one second. Let me take a bit of a break.
All right, we're good.
Okay, you want me to take chapter 4?
You do the honors, or the displeasure, whichever.
Okay. Only 2 weeks passed since the test when Curtis had received his first email for a job. Took 2 weeks to find a fucking job? He was still no closer to finding Alexis or the mysterious figure with the 9-ball symbol on it. He needed more time, but his clients would not wait forever. You had 2 fucking weeks.
Also, they literally tell you the information of all the ranking Ravens once you're in the Raven's Nest, and he's the #1 rank. You should know this shit instantly.
So he began reading the email that was from a client called Chrome. It was an odd request, but perfectly suited for a so-called rookie. Request Chrome upon advance, nothing upon success, 13,000. We would like you to end a standoff from workers whose factory was scheduled to be closed in the near future. Oh yeah, it's one of the first levels in the fucking game. They have modified their MTs for combat and have taken control of the complex. All we are asking you to do is go in and teach them a good lesson in manners. Did they actually say that in the briefing? Normally we would... What?
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay. Normally we would deal with it, but currently we cannot spare any of our troops. So if you would be so kind as to accept this contract, we would be grateful and pay you well. Theater of operations, location close factory, enemy forces, worker MTs, requirements for success, destruction of all enemy forces, end of file. Okay. 2 of the worker MTs were waiting behind pillars just as Curtis entered the factory in his AC unit. They came out of cover and fired their weak weapons that didn't even phase the heavy armor. Curtis aimed his mech's machine gun at the closest MT and fired. Rounds tore through the MT's weak armor and the pilot splattering his blood all over the cockpit. Just then, MT hit the floor with a thud. What? The other MT tried to run, but Curtis locked onto its head and fired a missile, blowing the top off and shattering it into a million pieces. Great writing. Just great fucking writing. Prize-winning stuff. Not far from the location of the front door, a worker MT heard the gunfire and sent a message to the other units saying, "All units be alert, we have an intruder, prepare to engage enemy on sight." What?
Okay, so I gave this a little bit of thought, and as you've been reading, I came to the realization, no, this is not a mission in the original Armored Corps. I don't recall Chrome ever sending you inside a factory. It was only one of the police forces, like Isaac City or another city. I don't recall Chrome doing specifically a mission like this.
Not only that, but the way the guy talks, "All units be alert, we have an intruder." I'm like, what? Only someone who is part of a military unit or police force would say something like that. I mean, wouldn't a bunch of workers, if this guy's just a
These
factory...
These are civilians.
Yeah, wouldn't a factory worker say something like, "Oh shit, guys, I heard an explosion, I think we got some company, everyone get in here, quick." Like, wouldn't he say something like that?
I assume a civilian would talk like a civilian, yes, but...
well, according to the story, he didn't live long after that, because 2 seconds after he sent the message, wow, I love how HyperX is using exact fucking numbers to describe everything. 2 seconds after he sent the message, bullets swarmed through the air, and bullets swarmed through the air, came through and hit the cockpit directly, shredding the MT and killing the pilot. Too easy, Curtis thought, and he moved deeper into the factory. Just then, a larger and much stronger MT came running up the aisle. It locked onto the AC and fired a high-pulse laser. What? The projectile hit Curtis's AC right in the core, almost breaching the weaker armor. What?
Keep going.
Curtis fired 3 missiles at the MT, blowing both its arms off and making a huge hole in the center of the MT. "Damn it," Curtis said. "I have to be more careful next time."
Yeah, no shit.
The battles raged on for 30 minutes before he came to the leader of the standoff, which was also the last enemy. Gee, thanks.
It took you 30 minutes to deal with a bunch of MTs when you're in a fucking Armored Corps? What kind of scrub are you?
It would only take me like fucking 2 minutes to beat that level.
It'd take me 1 if I was trying.
Before the fight, the leader came on the radio and said, "I won't be destroyed, I will kill you." His combat MT fired a high-pulse laser at Curtis's AC, his mech dodged the attack, transformed into the grenade launcher position, and fired a high-powered grenade, completely incinerating the hostile and ending the employee standoff. Shortly after, the guard MTs came through and secured the factory. A fellow Raven was waiting for Curtis when he exited the factory. "Well, I see you made quite a mess." Curtis took a look at his AC and saw it had tank-type legs of some sort. "Who are you?" he asked. "My name is Fenrir," he replied. "Not bad for a rookie." Curtis grunted to himself and replied, "Can you do any better?" There was no response as Fenrir turned around and strode away into the darkness.
I will give credit where credit is due. I do like that more Armored Corps characters are showing up. Especially Fenrir, because Fenrir never showed up in the original Armored Corps at all.
Actually, he is. He is in the game.
Let me finish here.
Oh,
he doesn't show up in any of the missions. I know he's the rank 4. I know he's the rank 4 AC, and he is in the arena, but he never shows up in any missions. and you never actually get to see him or fight him. So I do like that he at least makes an appearance in some way. Now it's very short lived, and it's obviously really dumb because we know who this guy is. But A for effort at least. Anyway, you were saying?
Dude, it's just I got nothing. This fucking chapter right here is a microcosm as to what's wrong with this goddamn story.
Is this the worst chapter thus far, you think?
Yeah, I'd say it is. I mean, these fucking battles are so poorly told and so poorly choreographed. Like, it takes 30 minutes to clear out the fucking factory. Really?
Dude, this. I'm not even sure if this is actually a mission in Armored Core, because there are missions where you clear out a factory, but I don't think Chrome hires you for anything.
Well,
I know.
this reminds me a lot of that first level in the factory. That's got to be what it's based off of.
Yeah, but Chrome doesn't hire you for that. The Isaac City Guard do.
You know what? Even if the guy had put down Isaac City Guard, it still wouldn't help this fucking chapter any.
No, it wouldn't. All it does is make it. Just adding Chrome just makes it worse. You want to alternate?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take chapter 5, go right ahead.
All right. Gotta get in my group here. Curtis had wondered why the so-called Fenrir was waiting for him outside the factory, just to rub in the fact that he was a mere rookie. That night when he got back to the Raven's Nest, he checked his email and found several. One from a man called R, one from Fenrir, and one from which there was no sender. Okay. He quickly read through R's email and got to Fenrir's email. It said that he had monitored his progress on his first mission, and when his skills had improved, he would love to go one-on-one with him. Curtis replied saying he couldn't wait for that day to come. Wouldn't it have been better to just type it out in text and, say what either character was saying instead of whatever? Moving on. Then he checked the unknown email. It stated, "Stay out of my way, or he would end up like the others who fought back."
Yeah, and that's in fucking quotes, too.
Okay. He couldn't do that earlier?
And not only that, it's like the quotes are completely... It's just, he switches from first person to third person halfway through the sentence. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh my god, this story just keeps getting better, doesn't it?
It really does. We're not even halfway through, and I don't even know how long we've been recording. But anyway, it was a very weird message, and Curtis wasn't so sure he wanted to be a Raven anymore. Wow, good job. First mission. This is already what you're thinking. What a bitch. However, the terms of the deal were that you are a Raven until the day you die. Curtis was also worried that he would never see Alexis again, and feared that he might as well accept the fate that she was dead. However, he brushed that thought aside for now. There was another mission involving a new terrorist group who had taken over the Doane Bridge at Avalon Valley. Okay, so this is the Chrome mission. This I do know. It also appeared that the terrorists were denied negotiations and had modified the MTs for combat as usual. Without hesitation, he accepted the mission. That night, around midnight, he came across a barricade leading to the bridge. There were 3 armored military trucks. That's armored military truck, without the S, by the way, each equipped with dual missile launchers. None of the drivers sent a message to him through radio, so he moved forward, but just as he did, a pulse laser shot rang out into the air, barely missing... Barley? Really?
Oh my god.
Barley missing his AC's head by a meter. Curtis quickly boosted behind the concrete
Why did
barricade.
he put... Hold on, why did... Again, he fucking put, by a meter in there. What does it fucking matter?
Barely missing his AC's head. That's all he had to do. All he had to do.
What is
Curtis...
it... Oh
okay, let's finish this, and then we detail it.
Why am I getting legitimately pissed off at this story?
Do you want to go get a drink of water?
I have it right next to me. I'm fine. Just keep going.
All right. Curtis quickly boosted behind a concrete barricade as more shots rang out through the air. He readied his missile launcher, came slightly out of cover, and locked onto the MT's head. The missile was a direct hit, disabling the mech and not killing the pilot. The other MT managed to get a few shots off, but Curtis boosted directly up to him and tore into him with his mech's machine gun. His radar detected 2 enemies of the other side of the barricade. Curtis backed up, aimed his grenade launcher at an angle, and fired it so the projectile came up and fell down on the hostiles.
What?
There was a
What?
massive.
Can you even do that in the game?
I wish you could. That would actually be cool, but no, your grenade launcher doesn't have an angle of attack. It just goes straight. Grenade launcher had an angle and fired as the projectile came up and fell down on the hostiles. There was a massive explosion that shook Curtis to the bones, and when he boosted up to see what was left of them, all he saw was a smoldering crater deep in the bridge. 15 minutes passed until the ringleader, known as Phantom, was killed.
And I thought the last chapter was bad.
This person does not know how to do fight scenes. And listen, I get fight scenes are hard to write. I've been trying to do a story with 2 other friends on Armored Core, and I admit I struggle doing fight scenes a lot. But there's no effort put into this. This isn't due to the fact that the person's trying but just doesn't know how to do a fight scene. This is from the person actively not putting any effort into it at all.
Maybe it's both.
Could be. I don't even know. It could very well be.
This chapter manages to be worse than the last one.
By the way, I would like to point out, we were doing chapters 1 through 5, and we just skipped straight to chapter 7.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah. What the fuck happened to chapter 6?
Clearly, I am not being sarcastic at all by the way I'm clapping my hands right now. How?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's one thing to do numbers for the chapters, somehow spell 1 for chapter 1, but then do the numbered chapters later. How do you forget to do chapter 6? Honestly, Condor, the thing that shocks me the most is how you managed to find this fucking thing. Do you want to take over from here?
Yes, I'm gonna take over from here.
Alright, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, I am gonna need it.
Okay.
Curtis was improving as a Raven and could tell because of the rank he had. He was ranked number 8 on the top 10 Ravens list and had managed to get there a month ago. He didn't have a whole lot of experience, but he got the job done well. The description said, a young Raven that is not noted for flash but for getting the job done reliably. His future looks promising.
I just want to say, there is no his in the description of the Raven when you're in that rank. It just says, future looks promising.
Wait, so HyperX got most of this description right?
He got most of this description right, except for the his. Granted, if he wasn't able to get the description of that correct when the description's literally in the game, well, honestly, I wouldn't actually be all that surprised. But still, he got most of this correct, except for that one word, and it is an easy mistake to make because it makes sense. So I will give him credit there. You can keep going.
Well, I mean, it does sound a little better when it says his future instead of just future looks promising. I think it sounds better, but regardless.
All right, he actually made an improvement.
What?
He actually made sort of an improvement. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That happened.
Wait.
The universe turned in on itself.
What?
The universe turned in on itself. He actually made an improvement. Anyway, didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
Okay. Curtis knew that he was on his way to the top, gee, no shit, but it would be very hard to get the number 1 position. This mysterious Raven known as Hustler 1 was at the very top and was never seen, almost never heard, and rarely accepted missions. To get to the top, he would have to either beat him and all the others standing in his way, or achieve more points than him. Okay, so he does know of Hustler 1 now.
Wait a minute. So he was able to check the rankings at any point, but it took him 2 weeks to know who Hustler 1 was?
Also, probably more than that.
Also, I pointed this out earlier, but I wasn't sure if the author was aware of this, and I even said maybe he doesn't know this because it's in later games. But no, he actually does. Almost never heard and rarely accepted missions. The author does know that Hustler 1 rarely takes missions, but he conveniently took the mission to attack Curtis's home. Why? So
because he was the chosen one, remember?
I played devil's advocate for the author for him maybe only playing Armored Core 1 and not knowing the details of their games. No, he did know this. The one time I actually tried to defend the author and my point flies out the fucking window like a brick through glass.
Okay,
Dude!
well, anyways, hold on. Let me continue. That night, Curtis had gotten a mission from a client called Murakumo Millennium. It stated that they wanted him to execute an attack on a chrome gun emplacement near the Avalon Valley. Taking place near Avalon Hill, and Curtis never saw the region ever again. Yeah, sure. And that their activity there was not good for their reputation. The reward, however, was not cash but an AC part. It was a picture of really fast humanoid legs worth about 44,000 credits. Curtis knew that this was a good way to boost his budget considering not only his low amount of money, but the extra reward that stated he would be given extra credits for every defensive aircraft backing up the gun emplacement. Okay, I recognize this level.
Yeah.
At the gun emplacement, a man in an MT sighed deeply. He hadn't seen any action in days and was very eager to fight. I doubt Murakumo would let that go on for that long. He was just about to fall asleep when all of a sudden the alarm rang. He started the engine and lifted into the air along with two other MTs. The dropship accelerated to the combat zone. The operator came to a dead stop and said to Curtis, "We have arrived at the combat area. We'll leave as soon as your AC is deployed." The dropship released the AC into the shallow water and flew off, even though, wait, doesn't that thing always crash?
Truth be told, I don't think it's necessarily scripted to crash, or it's supposed to, but it always takes way too much damage and crashing anyway.
Yeah,
So I'll let this slide.
Okay. Curtis activated the systems in his AC and was ready for combat. He saw 3 MTs fly toward him and locked onto each one with a missile. The 3 missiles fired and hit, sending 3 flaming wrecks crashing into the shallow water. 2 more came at him from behind, and he turned around and fired his machine gun. Armor-piercing rounds easily penetrated the light armor and sent the flying MTs crashing into the water to join their 3 other comrades. Fuck, this guy's word choice is really irritating me for some reason.
No, I think there's a very good reason for it. It doesn't sound genuine. It doesn't sound it like I said, it doesn't sound genuine. It doesn't sound like something you would read in a book or like
It
a
almost
standard
sounds like a
story.
fucking lawyer is fucking writing this.
I don't even honestly, that may actually be an insult to the lawyer. Anyway,
Curtis boosted his AC over the short wall and spotted the gun emplacement. For a moment, they didn't look too spooky until one of the opened fire on him and got a direct core hit. "Holy shit!" Curtis yelled as he boosted his mech back over the wall with the gun still firing. The high-powered pulse lasers they fired had weakened the damaged section's armor down to a mere 20 centimeters. What? That was the first hit he took.
His AC is weak as fuck.
Yeah, no shit.
Damn.
"Damn it," Curtis said. "I have to be more careful from now on." Gee, you think?
This earlier.
He did?
Yeah, he did. Hold on. Pause right here. Oh yeah, he did. Near the end of chapter 4. Like, right before the line where he says the battle raged for 30 minutes, Curtis said, "I have to be more careful next time." Near the end of chapter 4. Just look up
yeah,
chapter 5.
he does. I just saw it. Fucking...
Really? Really?
Okay, where the hell was I? Okay, Curtis had always hated the fact that he kept taking hits when he could have dodged them. Well, get better, you fucking scrub. It was a sign of carelessness, and Curtis absolutely despised that trait. This is not a time for a character analysis. He boosted back over the wall and at the guns until he was in close firing range for his machine gun and fired 100 rounds into the left gun. It took all those rounds to penetrate the thick armor and destroy the automated gun. What? How many fucking rounds does it take to destroy the gun in the game? Like 20 to 30?
35, 36, something along those lines. I don't even know. Really?
He then fired 6 missiles at the gun in the back of it and left nothing but a smoldering wreck where the gun had once been. The other 2 guns fired and he ducked behind the building as half of it blew up to the immense firepower of the guns. Curtis wanted to try a new... Wow, a new? Curtis wanted to try a new tactic for destroying them, but it was risky and he could get himself killed. He set down the AC's machine gun, said his prayers, and boosted right out at the rear machine gun. What? It's not a machine gun, you... His mech's hands grabbed the turret and turned and turned it just as it fired. The other gun fired at the same time, and the Pulse 4 lasers missed each other by only an inch. Curtis boosted away just in time to see both guns kill each other as their shots collided with one another, and turning the two remaining guns into scrap metal. His mech picked up his machine gun and boosted away from the battle zone. On his way back to the nest, Curtis took a deep breath and said to himself, "That was one hell of a tough one."
Ugh. Oh my god. Okay.
I'm actually tired from reading that.
Yeah, I'm getting really fucking bored. Thankfully, it seems like chapter 8 is the last chapter, and it seems unfinished.
Oh, you're right, there's not too much left.
Yeah, let me go ahead and just quickly read this off. It was 6 a.m. in the morning, and Curtis, being unable to sleep, started to think about
hold on a second. Try to be a little more dramatic. Let's turn this up a bit.
All right, I got this. It was 6 a.m. in the morning.
No, not like that. Like it was 6 a.m. in the morning. I mean, if you really want to be like that,
try making your best Batman voice. Start reading it like this. It was 6 a.m.
You know what?
Shit.
You know what? There's not much left. You want to do that?
You know what? Yes, you're right. I'll do that. Let's see how long I can keep the Batman voice up.
It was 6 a.m. in the morning, and Curtis, being unable to sleep, started to think about all the events that had happened up to this point. He remembered trying to search for Alexis ever since she disappeared. He remembered his test for becoming a Raven, and how he was sort of forced into the faction.
Forced into the faction? Dude, you didn't even question it.
I mean, he was forced into it, but he didn't even try to get out of it.
No, he didn't. There wasn't a single fucking word of protest, if I recall correctly.
No, there wasn't. Anyway, back to the voice.
I can't keep up that Batman voice anymore.
Well,
He started to think, what the hell am I doing here? He wondered why he was forced into the service. He wasn't forced into it.
Dude, first of all, he uses force twice, which is a mistake that I can make on occasion, so I will give him give him the benefit of the doubt here. But what the hell? You're just now questioning after 2 weeks what the hell you are doing? Really? This thought never occurred to you earlier?
No, it's been more than 2 weeks. It's been at least like 6. It's probably been more like 2 to 3 months at this point.
I don't even know.
Hold on a second. Yeah, chapter 7. Curtis was improving as a Raven and could tell, because of the rank he had ranked number 8 on the top 10 Ravens list and managed to get there a month ago. So it's probably been like 2 to 3 months.
A month ago. Oh my god, how did I miss that? So, it's been months, and you're just now questioning this?
Yeah, I know, it doesn't make any sense, but then again, nothing in this story makes any sense. But anyways, he wondered why he was forced into the service, and why he was immediately sent into all these crazy missions. There has to be a reason that I'm here, he thought. Curtis wondered if all these missions were set up specifically for him. He wondered that he was set up on them for a reason. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. After all, everything happens for a reason, no matter what it is, he thought. He was just about to carry on with his usual morning business when he heard a knock on the door. "Come in," he said. Just then, a man entered. He had dark skin, a flat-top hairstyle, and wore the uniform and insignia of the top 3 Ravens, even though there isn't one, you fucking idiot. "Hello, Curtis," he said. "I've been monitoring your battles so far, and I came down here to suggest that maybe we can have some fun in the arena sometime." Curtis then said, "Who the hell are you, and why have you come down here just to tell me that?" The man looked puzzled, but then said, "Don't you remember me? I was at the factory on your first mission when you cleared out those rebels." Curtis then had a look of both disgust and curiosity on him, then said, "Fenrir."
What a fucking way to end this.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Okay. I will say this. Before we go any further, I just want to preface this and say, this isn't the worst Armored Core fic that I've read. Demons of Hell is honestly worse than this. But...
Really?
Yes, I would say that. I would genuinely say that.
Oh, I only read the first chapter of Demons of Hell after you sent it to me. You're telling me it's worse than this?
Yes. Yes, I am saying it, and I have zero doubts in my mind that this is the case. At the very least, this story has potential. It is extremely rushed, poorly paced, poorly made, poorly written. Everything about it is bad except for the premise itself. The premise has potential, at least. But, my god.
Okay, I will agree with that. The whole premise here does in fact have potential.
But this is a draft. There's no way in hell that this was looked over or was improved upon in some way because there are so many errors that are so obvious that there is no fucking way in hell that this isn't a draft. This is a draft. It is a first draft. No other way in hell. No idea how this even got onto the internet for you to be able to find one.
Well, I'm not going to say exactly where I found it, but let's just say it had something to do with a link on a website in the Wayback Machine that somehow still functioned.
This tired me out. Nothing
Yeah.
about this shit tired me out.
Yeah, I'm pretty worn out myself. Just this whole fucking...
I think we covered basically every issue within this story thus far, and probably a numerous amount of other minor ones.
So wait, what made Demons of Hell worse than this?
That involves spoilers.
I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah, but they spoil plot points of an actual Armored Core game, and a pretty good one at that. Core Answer is really good.
Okay, then just kind of like give me an idea. Like, is it the premise itself?
The premise, okay. This premise has potential. Demons of Hell, the premise alone is extremely stupid, and it's completely unnecessary. Secondly, now granted, I did speculate what the author was going to do with Alexis or whoever this person is, and we'll clearly never get to see that for some pretty obvious reasons. It could either be a romantic interest or something along those lines, whatever I predicted earlier. Demons of Hell actually does have a romance story to it, and it's fucking awful. It's one of the worst things I ever read, and I could bleach my eyes every time I think about it. I guarantee you that if there was that I could send you a chapter of it, and you wouldn't even be able to finish it because of how bad it is. But that includes spoilers for the actual game, and the actual game is really good, so I'm not going to be able to tell you for a long time, if ever. But yes, I would say that from premise alone, this story actually is better than Demons of Hell.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I would say that. I would genuinely say that.
Even still, this story is fucking terrible.
This is one of the worst fanfics I've ever read, without any shadow of a doubt. This is in the bottom 5, possibly bottom 3.
Goddamn HyperX,
you've done it.
Yeah, you've put out a real fucking winner.
Anything else you want to do? Anything else you want to say or talk about?
Not really. I just want to kind of like decompress at this point.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Should we do an outro?
Well, I mean, not like an official outro or something like that. Let's just kind of wrap this up. Alrighty, folks, listen. This was a little different than my normal videos, but you know what? I gotta say, Andrew, I did actually have fun reading this with you as much as it tired me out.
This was a blast. This really was a blast, and I would love to do something like this again. Hopefully there are some other people in the comments that would also like to see something like this, because if we ever do something like this again, wouldn't mind. I wouldn't bet.
You know what? Here's the thing. If you can find like a bad Armored Core fanfic that doesn't spoil some of the games I haven't played, then, you know, I'd love to look it over.
All I can say is, I hope you guys really enjoyed this, because we definitely did, as tiresome as it may have been. And go ahead and let the main man Contra know if you want to see anything like this again. I hope you all have a very wonderful day, and if not, I hope this improved your day once more. Any other last words?
Well, I know for a fact you want to see me review the Armored Core games, and don't worry, guys, they will happen eventually.
Better happen fucking soon.
No, it's not going to be my next review. I got something else planned for that, but don't worry, it is in the cards.
All right. Good.
So, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see more. If you have any bad fanfics you want to recommend, just send them to me. I can't guarantee I'll make videos on them, but that's it. I'm going to go chill now. See you around, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Alright, kids, thanks for watching. If you're already subbed to the channel or are about to, be sure to hit the bell so you get notified when I post a video, hit the like button, and give me some feedback. I don't care if it's good or bad.